What is going on, everybody? Super duper Wednesday. Great morning to you. Greg, I love that. I love that so much. Super duper Wednesday, and it is. And what a joy to be here with you all this morning, sharing in what we share, this special, unique thing that we do together. I love it. I'm grateful to be a part of it. Thank you for all making it so special. We have a really exciting session ahead of us today. Looking forward to spending this time together. Bitcoin trading at $51,000. What are we looking at across the markets? We're going to make sure that we put it all together and continue to do what we do, ride the bull of all bulls, make sure that we are focused across all markets so that if anything were to change or any black swan were to appear, we'll be right there. We'll be right in front of it. That's for sure. What a joy to be here with you. Why the long intro? Why the long from the very beginning, I'm trying to shape and mold you, working on your time preference. I want to know, and I want to know now. You're going to get it. If you're here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, sharing this precious gift of life with my CTM family right now. And I am all about it. What are we looking at over here? A couple of things. Let's get going. Let's find the flow and see where this session takes us over here. If you saw last night on Twitter, I put out this chart as price was coming back down towards 47,500. I just wanted to show that little bit of support and this channel that we were trading in. If you come down to the 2 hour, you can see that over here. And you can see we broke out the resistance above. And right now, look to the left. You see the little bit of light local resistance where my mouse is on the left. You should all be able to find it yourself over here. We broke out, and now we're coming in for a retest of this channel. It's a light level. You see me on the 2 hour time frame. Nevertheless, this is what we're focusing on right now. If we resume off of this over here, ultra bullish over here, what happens next? Are we going into price discovery, taking out the all-time high, or are we going to come up in towards like the $56,000 area? And is that going to be resistance sending us back? If you remember, that happened over here. You could see over when we made the all-time high into 42,000, we pulled back. Right away, our eyes went towards this level right over here, and we were expecting that pullback. I can't say the same now. I can't say that I'm expecting a pullback if we are able to come into 56,000 or not. We'll see what happens. Just be aware that possibly as we come into this area of supply, this area of resistance, we could see a little bit of pullback. And if that does happen, then we're looking at a more prolonged pullback, generally knowing they can last anywhere from 30 to 60 days. It looks like right now we're about a week in, a little bit more than a week in, perhaps. It's not really important. We don't really need to focus in on that and know, right? I was expecting, or I'm expecting on the breakout of this because of the steep angle we're looking at. Also a steep move up. We're halfway there. We'll see. I don't know. What do we have to look at on the downside? Like always watch our back, just so in case price does sell off, we're not like deer in headlights, right? If we lose this area of this trend line over here, if we lose it, yeah, then it makes sense that we could come all the way back down and test this trend line support again. Breaking that, and then we're looking at testing the $43,000 low. So everyone has that situational awareness, and it feels nice holding Bitcoin above $50,000 again. This was actually pointed out over here. Joseph Young sent over to me from a friend. I wasn't following him. Says, hello, Bitcoin 50,000. We missed you. The difference this time? Do you remember earlier, a few days ago, as we came down over here, I showed you the liquidation charts, and I said to you, wow, how many people off such a small move got liquidated out of their positions? And I talked about the necessity to understand how to trade Bitcoin lightly leveraged if you're doing it. Experts only. That's the CTM training session from January 28th, right? By the way, we're missing the one that we did last week. And actually, we're missing 2 sessions. I'll ask Tom if he could go ahead and add them to the list over there. Not important, not really important at all. But imagine getting liquidated as Bitcoin went from 58,000 down to 42,000, a 20% drawdown. That's just giving away money in the bull market, 26% drawdown. That you have to understand what you're doing, or you're going to be giving money away. It's healthy for the market. And I said that as that occurred. I said that's healthy. We had so many people leveraged long. Getting them wiped out is actually healthier for us to continue forward. No default funding, no overcrowded futures market. That's what I was focused in on. Right now above $50,000, that's reset itself. Spot market, parity with futures, and a high Coinbase premium, coupled with large outflows and institutional interest, Bitcoin $50,000 feels good as it should, right? So what else? Look over here. This is beautiful. This is a comment from Jack on Twitter this morning. Alan AU. Big shout out to Alan AU over here. It's at Alan AU 11 on Twitter. Often and many times I've said he's a great follow on Twitter, and you want to follow Conquering the Markets, on Twitter as we're off our live streams. This is how you communicate with the community over here. Look what he always learning to improve. He's got that growth mindset, conquering the markets all day long. That thread was on point. You were all over it. Signal, 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 and no noise. Such an important part of the CTM community. Thank you, Jordan, Brandon, and Heath, for everything that you do. Let's take a look at what, by the way, I took this nice fake out to shake out weekends, and thank you, Alan, added it to the title of this video. Thank you, my brother. Alan over here. Let's take a look at this thread and give it the time and attention it deserves. This is CTM all day long. By the way, if you're just joining us, go ahead and smash that like button. Even better, if you already hit that like button this morning, go ahead and copy the share link. Even better, share it with a friend who would benefit from this information. Or better yet, family. All right, everyone. What are we looking at over here? Bitcoin is back above 50,000. Yesterday's 6% correction was a nice fake out to shake out weak hands. As tweeted 2 days ago, Bitcoin broke out of a wedge pattern. We had wedges all over the place, right? And the target is 55, okay? Alan is targeting a little bit lower, 55,000, the beginning of this area. Probably wants to make sure if he's putting something out there on the internet, he's correct. Way to go. All right, let's keep going over here. Technically, the correction is probably over, and we are back in business. Right. What supported this dynamite? Let's get into a signal, and take a look at what Alan's doing. I want to know. That's why I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing with you what's important to me, right? Jordan, did the pi cycle cross in 2000? Yeah, we've looked at many times. Dukes, you want to go over here? Let me help you out really quick, because if you're asking the question, there are other people asking the question. Come back to the end of the year. Go back to January, right? Go back to December 20 over here. You have, this is 2 months ago. You could look for it over there. Price behavior and signs of Bitcoin cycle top. I have a feeling that's the video you're looking for. There's also a video that talks about, watch these 3 videos. Accelerating price behavior and signs of Bitcoin cycle top. That's the one you want to watch. It talks about the double pi signal back in 2012, 2013, what to make of it, how we will be watching if anything like that were to occur. Right? Also, this video over here, why I changed my mind on Bitcoin's double wave. You have to watch these videos. Bitcoin log scale, these are all on the Bitcoin playlist. They are essential to understand what's going on in the markets. Absolutely essential. Bringing it back over here, the macro backdrop is bullish for Bitcoin as global central banks continue to print money like there's no tomorrow. Signal, the most important signal we're focused on this year. That was coming from 2020. The recent 10-year U.S. bond yield spike, the coming yield curve control portends. All right, Alan, you're above my vocabulary on that one. The coming yield curve controls the Fed, which will be rocket fuel for Bitcoin. Look, the question is, what happens if the 10-year goes above 2% this year? God forbid. What would happen to Bitcoin and the alt bull market? So the alt season, Bitcoin is the rising tide that lifts all boats, is because of Bitcoin and its 4-year cycle, because of the supply shock every 4 years as the miner's reward for confirming the network is cut in half, sending it off into its bull market phase, ending in rampant speculation in a bubble before doing what bubbles all do because of human psychology, popping, going into its bear market phase. What would happen to Bitcoin if the 2-year rose above 2%, right? My response, do you think the Fed steps in to smash that? Would yield curve control be ultra bullish for Bitcoin? Alan all over that saying this would be rocket fuel for Bitcoin. Signal. If the stimulus bill is passed by March the 12th, stimulus checks would begin hitting bank accounts everywhere from a few days to weeks following that, based on stimulus checks released in December. So, some of these stimulus money will flow into stocks, Bitcoin, and crypto. Everyone's familiar if you would have invested $1,200 into Bitcoin as those original checks went out, it would be like up 4 or 5x today. People are aware of that. Institutional adoption of Bitcoin continues and is boosted by the bullish stance on Bitcoin from Citibank and Fidelity. Citibank getting his bullish. Citibank is more bullish than Anthony Pompilano. The former said that Bitcoin would be the currency of choice. There you go, Alan. This is an amazing thread. If you're not following Alan, let me go ahead and just share the link over here. Everyone could blow up, start following Alan over here. Institutional adoption, right? Fidelity's director of global macro, Jurian Timmer, thought Bitcoin has gone mainstream. Sure. After BlackRock said it would dabble into Bitcoin, Goldman Sachs has restarted its crypto trading desk to deal with Bitcoin futures and non-deliverable forwards. It will consider introducing a Bitcoin ETF and do a custodian. I didn't know about this. I didn't know that Goldman Sachs was looking at introducing an ETF. Do you think Goldman's ETF is going to get denied? I'm not going to get into it in this video today, but the new SEC chairman, right, former Goldman Sachs executive, worth $112 million. Do you think that the ETF is going to get approved? Come on, the good old boys club, right? What about the Winklevoss brothers? Why isn't theirs approved? If you're not an insider, you're not an insider. Institutional adoption of Bitcoin is supported by on-chain metrics witnessed by the large outflows of Bitcoin from Coinbase. If you're seeing large outflows from Coinbase into cold storage, we've seen amounts like 1,000 Bitcoin moved at a clip. That's institutional buyers taking Bitcoin off exchange, putting that into cold storage, maybe never to see the light of day again. And the sustained Coinbase Pro premium as well. Sustained fall in liquidity supply of Bitcoin. There's some charts here if you want to look at them. At 50K, Bitcoin's perpetual futures market does not see over-leveraged funding rates. That's important. All at 0.01%. At exchanges, and there is spot market parity with futures, indicating that speculation is not rampant. Why? Because everyone got stopped. Everyone that was long Bitcoin over here, going into $58,000, got wrecked. A lot of people got, why? Because they don't know how to trade Bitcoin lightly leveraged. Experts only understand how to do it. If you're playing with the big boys, you have to have the same or better knowledge as them. Deborah introduced 120K strike price expiring on March the 26th. Oof, 2021. Huh. Well, I wouldn't want some of them. That's for sure. Short term, the options market indicate Bitcoin will trade as follows. Resistance over at 52. We just came off the 52,000 resistance. No? 52,600. Pretty close to it. 56,000. That's the number I pointed out to you this morning. And then 60,000 support coming in. Whatever. We all got that. Technically, it looked like a wedge pattern breakout would fail yesterday, and we would see the further downside. But the correction was a fake out. That's when I went ahead and actually sent out that tweet to you, as everyone was expecting. What was that? I don't know. I don't know what they were watching. This is what I was watching. I let you all know what I was watching as it was unfolding, trying to do my best to make sure everyone stays on the right side of the market. By the way, Alan, fantastic work. Thank you so much. Jordan, so you don't think that Bitcoin is killing gold? This is the funniest. So I don't know. Obviously, you're new to me and my work. As I've pointed out almost daily, one of the easiest trades in 2021 is short gold versus Bitcoin. I mean, listen, there are a lot of you who are new watching this maybe for the first time. I am so glad that you are here. For whatever reason that the algorithm has brought you here, thank you. Thank you for being here. Do go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Do go ahead and change your whole time preference. If you want to understand why so many people, part of this community, are doing so well. And when I talk about, actually we have a lot of comments today. I want to share them with you in a minute. First, I just want to really briefly, just so everyone maintains on the right side, gold Bitcoin, right? I've talked about this trade very often with you, almost regularly. Over here, circled over, this is when I did a video in the morning, and I was like, this is like the best time in the world to take a position short gold versus Bitcoin. Since then, it's 42% into profit, something like that. Keeps going. This trade is going to go out through the peak of the market, 46%. Anytime you see that 30% pullback, this was a 26% pullback on Bitcoin, right? Is that when you want to be looking to enter take a position further in this into this trade? I think so. This is one of the easiest trades. If you're watching for the first time, taking a posture of just being opening and listening is going to get you much further than thinking or acting like you know. Because dead on you don't, right? But by opening up yourself to learn, to start investing in yourself, it's going to pay enormous dividends and fruits in your life. You have to do that. You have to stop acting and thinking like you know. You do not know, right? Jay Robbins, I'm using my stimulus check to buy a yearly subscription to CTM. Jay, investing in yourself, and what a blessing to dig further into this wonderful community. Let's take a look over here really quick. I just want to read a few comments that all came out yesterday afternoon, and they're so important to me, each and every one of them, that I want to share them with you, who also are equally as important to me. Jordan, I've been following you for over a year. That's time invested. I love your channel. I love your clarity. I love your brutal honesty and your great dry sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you for what you are doing and how you run your business. Best of luck. Keep going on. Thank you. Thank you. I'm addicted to this channel. I canceled almost all resources of media, including YouTube, but I still come here, not just for the incredible technical analysis. Thank you. But for Jordan's grateful, thankful, and humble tone. Very rare in finance. God bless this community. Thank you, Lauren. Jordan opened my eyes to the crypto world. Indirectly, listen to this. Indirectly, I did it. Yes, you did, Anton. Indirectly responsible for me 20xing my net worth in the last year. I have followed a lot of people, but he has been the right side of so many opportunities. It's crazy. Yeah, and it is absolutely nuts, right? 2020 was a year of many things, including oil going negative. We were on top of it all. It's absolutely crazy, but it's what we do. An inspiration to keep building my own skill. Great work, Anton. I follow 30 plus channels for years now, including Real Vision, YouTube's, and podcasts. It's been 1 year following YouTube channel. So we have a lot of people now following us for a year. That's a huge milestone. I'm so happy to receive this news. At Jason, and I can't tell you, Jordan keeps things simple and focuses on what matters the most from all noises. It kept me on the right side of the market. Thank you for sharing this with me. Ooh, let me get into a little fun. So thank you. That's right. So thank you, everyone. Right, Mickey? Thank you, Mickey. Thank you. Together we're stronger. Conquering the markets is iron sharper iron. You should see what takes place in the Discord group. Heath, Brandon, Alan, and Alan AU, across the board, Greg, Gene, so many people, and the moderators, head exploding, every single one of you. Thank you. By my calculations, this is a good comment. By my calculations, I'm looking around October 21st to exit on Bitcoin. Okay, you're in the right area. You know, you're definitely in the right area. That's for sure. By the way, this is the Halving Tracker on Twitter. If you want to follow along, it's Halving Tracker, @Halving Tracker. I'm going to go ahead and just refresh this page to see if there's an updated chart as I pull this up to talk about this with you over here. 598 likes. Thank you here for supporting me and my work this morning. Alan, big shout out to you, my brother. I hope we blowed up your Twitter this morning. Go back and watch the beginning of this show, Alan, because we focused in on your tweet. We gave it a lot of time. The most time we've ever given any other anyway. Here we are. You're in the right time. You're looking October 21st. You're going to be in the right zone, the drop zone. No question about that. So let me keep going over here. But I will obviously be waiting for your sell signal, though. Thank you for considering my opinion. You know, I'm going to try to get the top. There's no question about that. I feel pretty confident if anyone's going to get it, it is going to be myself. And I'm going to keep every day keeping as sharp as possible, weighing every single factor there is so that we are all able to make those choices for ourselves, including what would the risk be of exiting now. My math doesn't work out like that. This is me responding. How did you run your calculations? I'm genuinely interested. If you're watching this now, ESO Health, let me know. Follow up with me. I would like to know. The way I did my math for September 21st, I'm not exiting Bitcoin in September. I'm not necessarily calling the cycle top in Bitcoin, but I'm not looking for an exit prior. There's many different things I look at. I'm going to show them to you now because there are people who are new to the channel. There are people who have not been following everything that we do. And it's important just to make sure everyone's on the same page as we continue to go. We're going to talk about that really quick, and including September the 21st, the date that I put out a while ago, talking about this is, I expect a shorter cycle. By the way, that shorter cycle, that is also, where it is, y'all. You could see over here during the first cycle, which had a 39x off of the halving, was definitely much steeper and shorter than the second cycle over here, which had a 19x off of the halving and was more, here we go. This was 526 days compared to 368 days. Shorter, longer. What was going on here? What was going on here was QE was going on, super easy central bank monetary conditions. And over here, they started tightening at the end of this one. Much, not tough conditions. QT wasn't going on, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Maybe QT was going on. No, this peaked in 2017. Either which way, they broke the market shortly thereafter, and they did break the market. And we've all talked about what that caused, how it caused the problem in the repo market, how that led to eventually the bubble popping late into February, into March. Anyway, that right now we're in super easy monetary conditions. Alan highlighted that on his Twitter thread over there. And this is all rocket fuel for Bitcoin, expecting a shorter cycle. I will be watching at the end of September for the cycle peak. And I think that's where it peaks. I genuinely think that's where it peaks. Jordan, everyone is telling me, that it's going to end in December because the first two cycles ended in December. Great. Consider their opinion with a grain of salt. That would mean that we're looking at this being a 563-day, October, November, December, 593 days. That would be enormously lengthening cycle than over here that we saw in the last cycle lasting 526 days. So if you're like a lengthening cycle type guy, right? Diminishing returns. Do you remember how quickly I squashed that? We had people talking about this. We're seeing diminishing returns and lengthening cycles. And I right away put a squash to that. We're seeing increased returns. We're seeing a shorter cycle. You have to be aware of what's going on around you. If you want to know how this math works, you take the low of the cycle and how many days into the halving. Approximately less 2%, that was the peak of the cycle. It happened once. And then again, in the second cycle, you take how many days from the cycle low to the halving event, 539 days, approximately less 2%. That was the peak of the cycle. It happened twice. Bitcoin's math, there's definitely a pattern in the 4-year cycle. Everyone here should be able to see it. And if you can't see the similarity, then, we have the bull market phase ending in the peak exhaustion, vertical move over here, the euphoria, and then we have a prolonged bear market ending approximately 15 months to the next halving in this accumulation zones after a capitulation event, right? And then, boom, do it all over again. There's definitely a pattern, if you could see it. This one, from the cycle low, the bear market low into the halving, 513 days. So if we don't know this is going to happen, it's a model. The model could break, but until it breaks, if you're not consulting it, I think you're missing out. Approximately less than 2%. I just want everyone to know that you could see it now. I'm not exiting on this date unless price action is showing me that. What that is, I happen to have a little bit of a gift for being able to read markets, right? And price action. I'll be watching it with you. I'll be explaining to you as it unfolds. It is on fire. And the more you see, the more of the pieces that we put together, by the way, the more of the pieces, it's just like, it's the Matrix. It's Neo in the Matrix when all of a sudden he's standing in the hallway and all of a sudden he could see through the Matrix. That's what it is, and that's who we are, and that's what we do. Yeah, I mean, I've pointed out, Stefan, big respect for the Chad himself, Michael Saylor. I've pointed out, what do you want to call it? Like, if you have Michelangelo building the Sistine Chapel and he hammered in one nail crooked and you're like pointing at that nail, right? Okay, that's fine. You caught the era, but it's still the Sistine Chapel. Michael Saylor has been an enormous ambassador in 2021. Enormous beyond belief. I love listening to the guy. You know, there's no question about it. I mean, we pointed out there's no need. He was wrong when he said, listen, as we came into $40,000 over here, and then we didn't trade down 80%, that shows that we're in a super cycle. Not one of us was looking for anything more than 30% plus pullback during this bull market. If you're saying we came into 40,000 and then didn't have a bear market, obviously you're still not yet believing or understanding the 4 years. Big deal. But just because Michael says something, listen, has anyone else across the internet have been more on the pulse of Bitcoin and what's going on than we have? No. So there you go. Anyway, what else are we looking at? What else are we looking at? I'm going to get into this afternoon over here. Briefly, I just want to, this could be rocket fuel for Bitcoin. Whether it's true or not, JP Morgan, do you trust anything an investment bank says to you? When an investment bank is putting out free research for you to read, do you believe them? I don't. Nevertheless, I want to pay attention to what they're saying over here. They're talking about adding over 500,000 jobs a month through the rest of the year. Am I going to pay attention to see if that occurs? Yes. If that happens and we return, also pay attention. Powell is focused in on that the Fed is going to continue uber easy monetary policy, even if inflation runs hot, which it is, until the job market comes back. That's what he's changed the goalposts. You have to pay attention to that. That's why I'm pointing this out to you. We slip in the most important macro throughout our conversations together. The most important signal you need to focus in on is what we share. Now, there's other people and there's other channels and all that, and they're all like, an insolvency event is going to happen this week, and like, whatever. If you don't know anything about the markets, it's going to be dangerous. You're going to lose a lot of money. That's for sure. This is something that we have to start tracking, or we're going to start tracking maybe non-farm payrolls now, because it's been a while, about a year and a half since I focused on non-farm payrolls. Lemmy, thank you so much. Ghost, thank you so much. Scar, thank you so much. I want to keep going, though, and keep it in the flow. If we start adding jobs month over month and we're seeing that happening, why we have to pay attention, that will be uber inflationary. Seeing all these people return to work, seeing return to growth, it will be just lighting a match on a bonfire that's covered in gasoline, ready to go. So it's something that what's going to happen to Bitcoin, is everyone covered? Or all of us covered if that were to happen? Is it possible the model could break to the upside again? Right? It broke to the upside over here. Over here, it broke to the downside during the crisis. Where are we at? Right over here. This is the model breaking, and it broke to the downside. The model is a model. The model could break, but if it's happening, we're going to be there. We're going to know about it, and we're going to be able to position accordingly. For sure. What else? JP Morgan expecting to, forget 500,000, is now expecting the U.S. Again, I don't trust them. We're going to be watching. We'll add $675,000, 8 million jobs for the full year. Needless to say, if the U.S. economy is indeed about to add 2/3 workers every month for 1 year, as the U.S. returns to normal, right? We expect by June, COVID in the U.S. to be basically gone until it appears again in, next year, for sure. Then inflation, whether one calls it transitory or permanent, is about to explode. We have to pay attention. We have to watch what's going on to make sure that we continue to be on the right side of the market. I wish these little sections could be saved and shared for later. I wish I could. I've seen on YouTube videos where they're able to categorize different sections of videos. I would love a searchable by voice, be like, when was I talking about such and such, and be able to bring it up to review. But that's why, as I do this every day for my own benefit, so that I continue to ride and be on the correct side of the most important trade, the bull of all bulls. That's why you have to invest your time yourself, so that as we're talking about and sharing these golden nuggets that you do not see anywhere else, that you're able to take them in and be with us. What's going on across the markets? Let's take a look over here. All right, so this is the S&P 500, right? Yesterday on the live stream, we were looking at, I'm on the 2 hour, whatever. Because I'm not looking to trade. Here's the 8 hour. I want to come back to the 2 hour. Yesterday during the live stream, we were into that resistance, and I pointed out and put in that upper resistance and said to you, that's resistance. This is support. We're in no man's land. Look what's happening since is that's where we are in that channel. It just helps to have that. You imagine when you're looking at the market, and by the way, when you're looking at the market and can see it clearer, you at least understand, are able to place trades with knowing where your risk, knowing how to be risk adverse, knowing where you should place your stop. You're not going to be right all the time. You don't have to be right nearly all the time, and expect to be wrong at least half the time. Not only, expect an enormous portion of your trades to be stopped out at a small loss and or break even. But if you know what's going on in the market and you put on the lens where you're able to see with clarity, it's extraordinarily helpful instead of trying to guess and getting whipsawed around out there, right? What about on the Nasdaq? Let's take a look across the markets over there. That resistance that we pointed out that we said we needed to get above held. We're back off, and I can see to the left, we're into a little bit of support over here. It's ranging just like the Nasdaq. The S&P, by the way, here gives us an edge for following the Nasdaq. It gave us that edge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to go back and watch yesterday's morning live stream. Again, this is for people who really want to invest their time in themselves to understand the markets. If you think you could jump in and been like, what do I buy? Tell me what to buy and make money in the markets, you're completely deluding yourself. That's not how it works. I could see that if I extend these lines forward, I could see that we're in a range on the Dow, right? Also in no man's land. On the Russell, it's tracking the S&P still perfectly. Is that helpful for you? It's helpful for me. It's helpful for Alan. Wait until you see the part we shared about your thread. It's helpful for me. The dollar, let me zoom out of here. Let me come back to the 8 hour. The dollar continues to be in our no man's land. Nothing to see, nothing to do, right? And just pointing it out that we're consolidating in a sideways range right over here on the dollar. As we break either to the upside or down, that's when we'll be looking for the next leg. That's when we'll be really tracking it. I see gold and silver under a lot of pressure, right? I was looking for an event that was more like, because before this happened, I was talking about the capitulation, but I was looking for a quick capitulation and then a spike up. That's bullish. We're not seeing that at all. We're actually seeing a recovery into that broken support, which is now being confirmed as resistance, and then resuming off. That's obviously very bearish. Is gold something that you want to get involved in? Not me, but you all know that. I'm not going to get into it this time because I do all the time, right? If you're interested in gold, right, the first sign of safety that really like gold's making a move will be above that resistance line over here. It looks like that. It's above 1819. Right? So anyway, silver also under pressure, again, flirting with the 26 support area over here. It's entirely bullish looking, huge uptrend, big consolidation, breakout, retest, resumption, but it's under pressure. And it's not looking like, you want to go when the momentum's going with you. That's when you want to be involved. That's why it made sense to take this trade over here. You had the huge breakout. You came in for the retest and bounce off. That's a great trade, even if it doesn't pan out. And all of them won't. All of them won't, that's for sure. That's not how this works. Ethereum, looking mighty bullish today, right? By the way, you can see if we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum together, this time, when I say this time, going back over here to the last pullback on Bitcoin, right? It was Ethereum that led the way out. Do you remember that we were saying, all right, as we come over here, Bitcoin still has a while to go to clear the all-time high, and Ethereum at that point was over here flirting at that resistance. And then when they popped, Ethereum led the way. You could see that, right? In this particular time, it looks like Bitcoin, they're both kind of in the middle, right? But Ethereum's lagging a little bit. So do we expect that Bitcoin is going to continue to lead the way over here? If we get it looks like it this time. You could see the difference between the last pullback as Ethereum consolidated right over here into that resistance. Why at that same time, Bitcoin was trading over here, lagging from the all-time high. This time, they're both about halfway. But Bitcoin is trading a little bit further towards the top of the range than Ethereum. So everyone should be able to see that, distinguish it. Nevertheless, you do see Ethereum, Bitcoin. Ethereum today is outperforming, trying to break outside of this consolidation pattern, and it's a narrow one. I do believe, and I've talked about over the last few sessions with you, the importance of this support. the importance of this support, this confluence over here. Is it possible that we get a sharp move here and Ethereum outperform? Of course, it's neither here nor there, right? Do you really care who's leading the way, Bitcoin and Ethereum? I have a feeling that right around the end of July, Ethereum and Bitcoin around some point in the summer are going to be actually having the same, more or less the same amount, the same performance on a yearly basis. And then we're going to see a big move both ways. All right. What else are we looking at? What else? I think in my opinion, in my humble opinion, this has been a fire session, one of the most important sessions. We're lacking on likes. We have 2,400 people in here, and we have not yet met it. 40 minutes in, and we're at 800 likes. All right. I guess I got to do better. Anyway, I think that's a fire session. It's going to be one of the shortest sessions we ever do, right? We have this morning in about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. We're going to be doing a training session. It's called Forex. What did I call it? Listen to the title of this. Masterclass Forex Advanced Intermediate Session. You do not want to miss this one. That's for sure. You do not want to miss this one. That's for sure. All right, everyone. I'm going to not prepare. I'm already prepared for it. I spent yesterday evening preparing for it. I'm all prepared for it, but I'm going to rest up over here. I'm going to make sure I could bring my A game and be energized as we go over that session together with all of you. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you for sharing this time with me today. I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for all of you. Let's go out with some tunes. That is today. That's in about 45 minutes. Yay. It's about 2 hours after joining that you're going to receive an email. Check your bulk folder. The email is going to go out at exactly 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, Jay. The email with the invite link is going to go out exactly at that time as the session goes live. Check your bulk folder and you'll be able to access the training session live there. And then we'll get you set up into conquering the markets thereafter today. By the way, everyone who's watching, I have it off the peaks here, the peak of the wick here and here. I'm not saying I don't know what's right or wrong until it happens, to be honest. I want to go ahead and clone that line, and I want to show you. If we go back down over here, you can see over here the closes over here, the close over here. This could be the line, you know. I obviously don't know. We'll see. That's something that you should be paying attention to. May God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you to these amazing moderators. Yeah, all the sessions are recorded. You have access to everything. Every single live training session ever recorded. Not only that, Tom has gone ahead and broke down every single session, describing between what clip, what we're talking about over here. We'll be adding, a searchable database so you can search by topic and find the most important clips over there. Yeah, you have access to all that, absolutely. All right, everyone. Have the most beautiful day. Thank you for making mine as such. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you soon.